Today, I've got something a little different for you all. This is my studio apartment. It's around 500 square feet, and I've been living here for about 7 months now. Because it's my very first apartment I'm living in totally on my own, it's one of the first spaces that I've been able to truly put a personal touch on and design something that feels completely like me. A huge part of making this space feel like a home to me and something that is uniquely mine has been to represent as many of my personal interests as possible. So this isn't a full apartment tour or anything, but I did want to share some tips and tricks and maybe inspiration for designing your own nerdy chic spaces. A big problem I faced when I was deciding on how to decorate this place was that so much of the interior design inspo and content out on the internet is very focused on what's classy or what you're expected to have your space look like as a proper adult. I think this is just part of what's ingrained into our society to associate certain things as adult or childish. But I don't think we should be afraid as adults to display those things. I wanted to find a way to represent as many of my interests as possible when filling my new apartment. I didn't want to have to cut back or be minimalist because I'm not minimalist. I like having things on display. I like owning things and they bring me joy. So sue me.
Oh, that smells good. Can I help out?
Sure can.
Something that's helped to make my bookshelves really unique and perfectly aesthetic is looking for opportunities to collect special editions of my favorite books. Sometimes they'll release these for anniversaries of popular books, but sometimes you can also find fan-made, approved slipcovers for other books. You just have to do a bit of digging. These special edition covers are always really beautiful and the spines look really nice on a shelf. What's on my walls now has been collected over several years. Now, good art isn't cheap. It shouldn't be. Artists spend hours and days working on these things and a lifetime to hone their craft. Personally, I wanted to invest a lot into the art I have because I'm an artist and it's a decor priority for me to spend money there. But I totally understand being on a budget too. If you're on Instagram or Twitter, find and follow artists who create art that you love the look of and aligns with your fandoms and interests. Many professional artists and illustrators have print shops where you can order prints of their work in a variety of sizes. If you're a Disney fan, I highly recommend checking out vintage movie posters on sites like eBay or Etsy. The general rule for these I found is that the older the movie, the more easily it can be incorporated into a color palette. So I settled on this one of Cinderella, which I got off eBay, because it also ties in some of the same colors that I had already picked out for my space, including my bedding color. I started collecting them when I was in college, and now I have a full-blown addiction. Seriously, someone needs to stop me, except no one will, and I keep putting them on my Christmas lists, so the obsession will continue. Picking up some art or film books featuring your favorite movies or TV shows is a super easy way, I think, to incorporate your interests into the design of your space. There's also tons of them out there, so you're pretty much guaranteed to find something you'll actually enjoy reading beyond just looking pretty on a table. I also shuffle these around so that I do just that and I actually get around to reading and enjoying the books that I have. So from time to time I switch out which ones are on display in prime locations like my coffee table. And with any seasonal specific books that I have, I make sure to swap them in when I take out my regular decorations for Halloween or Christmas. The last big tip I have is these Disney collectible postcards. They're just these little book boxes full of postcards that feature concept art from various Disney movies. Super cool to look through, but I've actually hand selected a bunch of these and framed them for decor. I found this segmented frame from IKEA and picked a selection of postcards and hung them up here on an empty bit of wall I had in my kitchen. I know they for sure have one of these collections for Ghibli too. These two box sets weren't super cheap, but if it's a design idea that interests you, you can make them go a long way for a lot cheaper than buying a bunch of individual artworks. Honestly, the best general advice I can give is first look at your space and then look at everything you have. Most of the little nooks and crannies I was able to fill in with items I've collected over the years. Books, dolls, prints, tiny tchotchkes with no definite purpose. I was able to find a space for all of it, but it doesn't look cluttered. What I've learned and what I feel pretty confident about passing along to all of you is that what makes it feel like home is that balance of having clutter with purpose. But to make my space feel comfortable and uniquely feel like mine, I lovingly filled it with the characters, imagery, and the stories that I love.